this RDP. This shouldn't drop the stream. So we went straight to the screen. Oh no. No. Kind of noticed it's like 12 hours off my normal schedule. Well, hey, check that out. Wait a minute. Oh, that's on the stream manager. Okay, well, it looks like it's working, so that's cool. But I'll leave that open. I'm going to open my RDP remote desktop connection to my streaming computer. So there we go. And I should type row, because we're going to be rowing today. I thought about doing the bicycle, but the problem is I need to probably do an hour on the bike. And since I'm starting so late, I don't want to commit to an hour. Not when it's 6:30. I had stuff to do all day. I didn't want to get up at 4 a.m. and do my workout, so I decided I'd do it later when I got home, and now it's later and I'm home, and so now I'm doing my workout later at home. So that'll make it fun tomorrow morning, which should be on a normal schedule. I expect. We'll see. All right, let's go. Row, row, row our boat. I didn't start the music. My intention is to finish listening to The Invisible Man. Got my microphone over here on the side. I can see the mixer, and yeah, it looks like the mic's picking my voice up just fine. This is a pretty good mic. I think it's a pretty good for a USB off-brand, semi-off brand. I don't know. I really bought it at the recommendation. Recommendation might not be the right word. So I watch a streamer, Jan Pretzels, on Twitch, and I noticed that I thought her audio, her vocal on her stream was pretty good, you know, up there, unless you go into like the stratosphere of the professionals, so to speak. I thought, man, I can really hear her voice quite well, and I didn't know if it was just the acoustics in the room, where she streams from, or what, but I was like, oh, I will ask her about the microphone. And so based on this is a just slightly newer model than the one that she said that she uses. So it's a Fifine, whatever, 678, or it's whatever one they have on Amazon, although they may have put a newer one on for all I know. But it comes in a kit with an arm. It's like 65 bucks maybe, something like that. So, you know, it's not like ultra cheap, but it's also not like the 100, 200, etc. But I think the quality, I did tweak the settings just a little bit. I have the gain turned up like 6, just tweaked up a little bit, because I tend to, especially when I'm playing games, I tend to get kind of quiet. If I'm not talking specifically to someone and I'm just talking to the game, then I often might start to kind of mumble or kind of just get quieter. And this does pretty good. Right now I'm a good couple feet from it, and the mixer level still looks okay, not quite hitting yellow, but I'm also not really speaking up super, like, you know. Anyways, so there you go. I was busy. I was out today. I was busy. Got home, rowing on the rowing machine. Gonna do a solid 30 minutes. I don't plan on doing any extra, because the thing is, I should be doing tomorrow's workout in the morning. And so there's going to be a much shorter gap between my workouts. So I don't think I'll do any extra. I'll just put in the requirement today, and then tomorrow morning we'll see how I feel. If I feel real good, maybe I'll do a little bit extra in the morning. I want to hedge my bets, shall we say. So I'm going to go ahead and listen to, I think perhaps the end. I think we might make it through. I don't know how far. I've never read The Invisible Man before, so this is the first time I've really heard the whole story. I only basically knew like a summary. I can't really say I knew much about the story itself. Hasn't really been anything surprising in it. But, you know, it's a classic, right? So I figured, why not listen to it? Alexa, read The Invisible Man from Kindle.
Resuming The Invisible Man, Amazon Classics Edition. There are 2 hours left in the book.
Oh, 2 hours.
Exhausted and wounded as the Invisible Man was, he refused to accept Kemp's word that his freedom should be respected. He examined the 2 windows of the bedroom, drew up the blinds and opened the sashes to confirm Kemp's statement that a retreat by them would be possible. Outside the night was very quiet and still, and the new moon was setting over the down. Then he examined the keys of the bedroom and the 2 dressing room doors, to satisfy himself that these also could be made an assurance of freedom. Finally he expressed himself satisfied. He stood on the hearthrug and Kemp heard the sound of a yawn. "I'm sorry," said the Invisible Man, "if I cannot tell you all that I have done tonight. But I am worn out. It's grotesque, no doubt. It's horrible. But believe me, Kemp, in spite of your arguments of this morning, it is quite a possible thing. I have made a discovery. I meant to keep it to myself. I can't. I must have a partner. And you. We can do such things, but tomorrow. Now, Kemp, I feel as though I must sleep or perish." Kemp stood in the middle of the room staring at the headless garment. "I suppose I must leave you," he said. "It's incredible. 3 things happening like this, overturning all my preconceptions, would make me insane. But it's real. Is there anything more that I can get you?" "Only bid me good night," said Griffin. "Good night," said Kemp, and shook an invisible hand. He walked sideways to the door. Suddenly the dressing gown walked quickly towards him. "Understand me," said the dressing gown. "No attempts to hamper me or capture me. Or," Kemp's face changed a little. "I thought I gave you my word," he said. Kemp closed the door softly behind him, and the key was turned upon him forthwith. Then, as he stood with an expression of passive amazement on his face, the rapid feet came to the door of the dressing room, and that too was locked. Kemp slapped his brow with his hand. "Am I dreaming? Has the world gone mad, or have I?" He laughed, and put his hand to the locked door. "Barred out of my own bedroom by a flagrant absurdity," he said. He walked to the head of the staircase, turned, and stared at the locked doors. "It's fact," he said. He put his fingers to his slightly bruised neck. "Undeniable fact. But," he shook his head hopelessly, turned and went downstairs. He lit the dining room lamp, got out a cigar, and began pacing the room, ejaculating. Now and then he would argue with himself. "Invisible," he said. "Is there such a thing as an invisible animal? In the sea, yes. Thousands, millions. All the larvae, all the little nauplii and tornarias, all the microscopic things, the jellyfish. In the sea there are more things invisible than visible. I never thought of that before. And in the ponds too. All those little pond-life things, specks of colorless translucent jelly. But in air, no, it can't be. But after all, why not? If a man was made of glass, he would still be visible." His meditation became profound. The bulk of 3 cigars had passed into the invisible or diffused as a white ash over the carpet before he spoke again. Then it was merely an exclamation. He turned aside, walked out of the room, and went into his little consulting room and lit the gas there. It was a little room, because Dr. Kemp did not live by practice, and in it were the day's newspapers. The morning's paper lay carelessly opened and thrown aside. He caught it up, turned it over, and read the account of a strange story from Iping that the mariner at Port Stowe had spelt over so painfully to Mr. Marvel. Kemp read it swiftly. "Wrapped up," said Kemp. "Disguised. Hiding it. No one seems to have been aware of his misfortune. But the devil is his game." He dropped the paper, and his eye went seeking. "Ah," he said, and caught up the St. James Gazette, lying folded up as it arrived. "Now we shall get at the truth," said Dr. Kemp. He rent the paper open. A couple of columns confronted him. "An entire village in Sussex goes mad" was the heading. "Good heavens," said Kemp, reading eagerly an incredulous account of the events in Iping of the previous afternoon that have already been described. Over the leaf the report in the morning paper had been reprinted. He reread it, ran through the streets striking right and left. Jaffers insensible. Mr. Huckster in great pain, still unable to describe what he saw. Painful humiliation vicar. Women ill with terror. Windows smashed. This extraordinary story, probably a fabrication. Too good not to print, from Grana. He dropped the paper and stared blankly in front of him. Probably a fabrication. He caught up the paper again and reread the whole business. But when does the tramp come in? Why the deuce was he chasing a tramp? He sat down abruptly on the surgical bench. "He's not only invisible," he said, "but he's mad. Homicidal." When dawn came to mingle its pallor with the lamplight and cigar smoke of the dining room, Kemp was still pacing up and down, trying to grasp the incredible. He was altogether too excited to sleep. His servants, descending sleepily, discovered him, and were inclined to think that overstudy had worked his ill on him. He gave them extraordinary but quite explicit instructions to lay breakfast for two in the Belvedere study, and then to confine themselves to the basement and ground floor. Then he continued to pace the dining room until the morning's paper came. That had much to say and little to tell, beyond the confirmation of the evening before, and a very badly written account of another remarkable tale from Port Burdock. This gave Kemp the essence of the happenings at the Jolly Cricketers, and the name of Marvel. "He has made me keep within 24 hours, Marvel testified. Certain minor facts were added to the Iping story, notably the cutting of the village telegraph wire. But there was nothing to throw light on the connection between the invisible man and the tramp, for Mr. Marvel had supplied no information about the 3 books, or the money with which he was lined. The incredulous tone had vanished, and a shoal of reporters and inquirers were already at work elaborating the matter. Kemp read every scrap of the report, and sent his housemaid out to get every one of the morning papers she could. These also he devoured. "He is invisible," he said, "and it reads like rage growing to mania. The things he may do, and he's upstairs free as the air. What on earth ought I to do? For instance, would it be a breach of faith if—" No, he went to a little untidy desk in the corner, and began a note. He tore this up half-written, and wrote another. He read it over and considered it. Then he took an envelope and addressed it to Colonel Ady, Port Burdock. The invisible man awoke even as Kemp was doing this. He awoke in an evil temper, and Kemp, alert for every sound, heard his pattering feet rush suddenly across the bedroom overhead. Then a chair was flung over, and the wash-hand stand tumbler smashed. Kemp hurried upstairs and rapped eagerly. Chapter 19. Certain First Principles. "What's the matter?" asked Kemp when the invisible man admitted him. "Nothing," was the answer. "But confound it. The smash." "Fit of temper," said the invisible man. "Forgot this arm, and it's sore. You're rather liable to that sort of thing." "I am." Kemp walked across the room and picked up the fragments of broken glass. "All the facts are out about you," said Kemp, standing up with the glass in his hand. "All that happened in Iping and down the hill. The world has become aware of its invisible citizen, but no one knows you are here." The invisible man swore. "The secret's out. I gather it was a secret. I don't know what your plans are, but of course I'm anxious to help you." The invisible man sat down on the bed. "There's breakfast upstairs," said Kemp, speaking as easily as possible, and he was delighted to find his strange guest rose willingly. Kemp led the way up the narrow staircase to the Belvedere. "Before we can do anything else," said Kemp, "I must understand a little more about this invisibility of yours." He had sat down, after one nervous glance out of the window, with the air of a man who has talking to do. His doubts of the sanity of the entire business flashed, and vanished again as he looked across to where Griffin sat at the breakfast table, a headless, handless dressing gown, wiping unseen lips on a miraculously held serviette. "It's simple enough, incredible enough," said Griffin, putting the serviette aside and leaning the invisible head on an invisible hand. "No doubt to you, Bud," Kemp laughed. "Well, yes, to me it seemed wonderful at first, no doubt. But now, great God, but we will do great things yet. I came on the stuff first at Chesilstowe." "Chesilstowe? I went there after I left London. You know I dropped medicine and took up physics?" "No, well, I did. Light fascinated me. Ah, optical density. The whole subject is a network of riddles, a network with solutions glimmering elusively through. And being but 2 and 20 and full of
Alexa,
enthusiasm, I said,
pause. Hey there, CL13 TV. How's it going? I am rowing on a rowing machine. This is my workout. I do this daily, and I stream it so that I'll do it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm an old guy, and I've never worked out on a continuous basis, and for whatever reason, by doing it on the internet here, I'm on my 7th week, and so it's working. I feel better. You know, TLDR, I'm working out, and it's making me feel better. So that's about it. Oh, and also I'm listening to The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, as read by my Amazon device. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I just talk to myself. And sometimes I listen to this audiobook. It's the first one I've tried. It was just an idea I had. I was like, you know, music's cool, but what if I listen to some classic story that I had never read? So that's about it. Trying out some stuff. Usually I work out in the mornings, but I had to go out and be out all day, and so I'm about 12 hours off my normal cycle. For where I am, it's early evening, but I'm doing it. In this case today, it was planned out. I knew I had to leave the house early, so I didn't want to get up in the halfway in the night and do my workout. So I'm doing it now. Sticking to it. I take Sundays off, so I've been doing the rowing machine now 6 days a week, taking Sundays off. And yeah, it's working out pretty good. I'm pretty happy about it. I've been doing it long enough now that I've started to be able to tell that my back's stronger. I don't weigh myself because I'm not really doing it for weight loss, or, you know, that's part of it. But my doctors told me for my high blood pressure and my diabetes, I need to exercise, and so I finally started doing it. I'm actually, hey Henry, you're gonna get run over, buddy. I have a small dog next to me who likes to walk around. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to my next doctor visit. I can be like, yes, I did exercise. Hey, from Facebook, Trey, I miss you back. Him, your is name. Miss you. Anyway, hey Trey, nice for you to pop in. I do multi-stream, that's why I'm reading a Facebook comment. I multi-stream Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. And I've got, there's two people from Facebook that often stop by and say hello, and a handful from Twitch. I I think I've only ever gotten one comment from YouTube. So far, YouTube's like the least amount of activity, which is fine. I mean, it's not a big deal. I just doing this to figure out how this streaming thing works, and it's kind of coincidental. Well, I wouldn't say coincidental. I don't know if I would have started exercising if I hadn't started streaming, because I'm old enough. I had plenty of opportunities to start working out all these years. 2 years ago I had heart surgery, and that wasn't really enough to get me going. But for whatever reason, the idea of I don't know how to explain it. Somebody I was talking to used the word accountability, which I don't know how to explain. That sounds right, but I don't really know, how to explain how that works. Because it'd be way different if some, huge streamer was like, hey fans, chat, whatever, I'm gonna start working out, and then they would all be super supportive and whatever. I'm just kind of doing this on my own, but for whatever reason it's worked, and I guess that's what counts, really. I'm happy. I am a novice, so my form, I gotta concentrate. When I forget to think about it, I think I start to slouch a little bit. I did look up a few YouTube videos just on the basics of using a rowing machine. So I know I'm probably doing it wrong, but I at least tried to get the basics. The video I watched said sit up straight, keep your butt out, and then extend your arms and go legs, arms, legs, arms. So I don't know if that guy knew what he was talking about, but he's on YouTube, so there you go, right? Legs, arms, legs, arms. Not a fancy workout. I do have an exercise bike. You can kind of see it there in the shot. I used that right after my heart surgery. I did cardiac rehab where you walk, they put a heart monitor on you and you walk on a treadmill with nurses monitoring you. I did that for like 16 weeks. And during that, they try to encourage you to do some kind of exercise at home to try to get you, to continue. And I had just started riding that bike at home, starting to get into it when COVID hit. And for whatever reason, with COVID, I was kind of like, end of the world, why should I do anything? Not like explicitly, but it made it way easier to stop riding the bike. But I do have that, and I probably will use it at some point. I'm thinking what I'll do is, right now I'm doing a half an hour on the rowing machine. I'm thinking of adding a half an hour on the bike. But I haven't started doing that yet. Oh, I forgot to take my water break. I usually stop at halfway and drink some water. Here. Whoa, almost choked. Here, Henry, say hello. This is Henry, the long-haired Chihuahua. He's my buddy. I'm not done, Henry. I was just taking my water break. Chronic Casey, Bork. Yep. I should add on, I do have a couple other cameras, and in this workout scene, I can't put you up there, bud. You gotta wait till I'm done. This workout scene, I should add one of the other cameras. That he's got a futon. I say that like a tiny dog actually has a full futon. But it kind of is. His bed's up there and he's barking. He's like, I want up on the futon on my bed. He is a middle-aged dog. He could jump up there if he really wanted. It's pretty low futon. You know, like a sofa is a lot higher than a futon. He could get up there if he wanted to. He's just getting a little bit older where he's getting lazy. So probably gonna bark for a little while. But I'm getting close. What are we at here? About 25 minutes. See the clock cycle through. See where we're at. 23 minutes and 36 seconds. Henry got about 7 minutes. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to get my workout done for the day. Yeah, I know you want help, but you just have to wait. You're a pupper. You have to wait, Mr. Pupper. I have noticed that I really tend to. Oh, he pulled his bed off the futon, so now he's probably going to be. I tend to not extend my arms all the way when I get like spaced out, you know, like not paying attention to what I'm doing. My form is not good enough for automatic mode. I think I need to pay more attention. So sit up, legs, arms, legs, arms, legs, arms, legs, arms. I don't know, even if my form's not great, it's helping. I've been doing it long enough now, I can tell that it's making my back stronger. His doggy bed onto the boat. You turned his head when I said his name. It's funny because most of the time he acts like he doesn't know what his name is. But got about 5 minutes left on the rowing machine. Then I'm gonna go eat some supper. And then I'm gonna have to go out and mow the lawn. Cause I'm at the point where if I procrastinate too much on my lawn mowing, I'll actually be getting behind. So it's kind of hot out there, but I like to mow in the evenings. I generally go out about an hour before sundown. So it's cooled off a little bit. The sun's not too direct. But that means I have to mow like 3 or 4 days. 2, 3, 4 days, depending on, you know, if I mow an hour, hour and a half, 45 minutes. With the weather, with the fairly rainy weather, that means the grass has been growing. Just thinking about that, it's probably been 8 or 10 years since we had a dry summer where the grass dried up. The kind of grass we have around here, at least most people that have their lawns, it's one of the kinds that when it's a dry summer with no rain, it turns brown. The tops die off, but just like in winter, it does that. But the roots, you know, are still there, so that if we have like a dry June, July, whatever, then when it starts raining in August or September, it'll green back up. And there was one year, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever, I probably didn't mow for 6 weeks. Pretty dry. These past several winters, or not winters, summers, it's mowing all summer long. Sometimes with a little bit of a dry spell, so it slows it down a bit, but it's real thick too right now. That grass is thick, so if it gets long, man, you gotta mow slower so it takes longer, or mow it at a higher, have the deck off the ground further, so that means you're gonna have to mow it again sooner. Anyway, the joys of having a yard. A grass yard. I guess out in Arizona they have rock yard. Really? Are you tumbling around, Henry? You're a funny dude. He's like going to town on his bed. He's like wrestling it. I mean, I don't know what he's doing. I don't want to know. Probably good we don't have a doggy cam right now. Really? You're gonna haul it away? Okay. See ya. He just ran out the door with his dog bed. Literally dragged it out of this room. What a turkey. Got about one more minute, minute and a half. We'll do a little bit extra. But we're gonna keep it pretty close to 30 minutes. What's our live time? 32 minutes. I got started pretty quick, so yeah, that correlates. But I feel pretty good. So 30 minutes. 30 minutes is just a good, solid, medium workout for my current fitness level, I would say. Not that I know, I'm a novice. I don't know much. I just know that doing this is better than doing nothing. Guarantee. This has been better than doing nothing. So, I'm happy. Gonna do about 30 more seconds. And I'll be done. I don't know if I'll stream again later. By the time I get done mowing, I don't know. This might be my only stream today, which is sometimes what I do. Most days I put in a fitness stream and then one game. But today might just be fitness only. We'll see. I got up kind of early, so yeah, I don't know that I'll be staying up late. Some nights like this I'll play Dicey Dungeons because it doesn't take too much brain power. It's pretty easy to just do a quick, less brain power stream with the Dicey Dungeons. Alright, that's it. Thanks everybody for stopping in. Thanks for popping in, saying hello, Trey. And CL13 TV, thank you for saying hello. Chronic Casey, always good for you popping in here. And I don't know what Henry did with his bed, but I'll put it back on the futon for next time. Bye. Going stream ending.